Welcome back, beautiful people, and thank you for tuning in to another sunny episode of Living in the Algarve. My name is Raquel, Canadian girl living in the Algarve, and today I'm going to share with you the top reasons why people might choose to leave the Algarve, and it may not be what you think. So grab a coffee, tea, or a glass of wine, get comfy, and join me as we explore the quirky, the challenging, and the unexpectedly hilarious parts of living in paradise. Let's dive right in. First, the famed Portuguese bureaucracy. It's like a freaking national sport here, except much less fun. So, some people move here and find themselves completely lost in a maze of residency permits, which are required if you're staying longer than 3 months. I'm not going to get too much into residency in this video today as it's not really the topic of focus, but I will say that it is always recommended that you seek professional advice on this, as there are requirements and benefits to the different options, and you want to make sure that you're fully informed so that you can decide what works best for you. Then there's health registration, with each of these requiring like a million different forms filled out in triplicate. Just kidding. But for health registration, you will need your passport or ID, proof of residency, proof of address, NIF, which is your tax number, cartão de cidadão, aka citizen's card, or if you don't already have your citizen's card yet, your AMA invitation letter, and your NISS or Social Security number. Now, you may not be asked for this if you don't work. And finally, your mobile number. To stream for healthcare and getting that coveted número de utente, your local centro de saúde, can be a bit of an adventure. It's practically like a treasure hunt. The ease of the process can change not just from one health center to another, but it can also depend on who's manning the reception desk that day. Some folks behind the counter are absolute angels and they're ready to help you navigate the maze with a smile. And then there are the gatekeepers who seem to relish in inventing new and creative ways why you can't register just yet. Always a mix of fun. Then there's registering your career in Portugal, a process so lengthy that it can take longer than getting your actual driver's license for the first time. I went through this, and I can tell you it was one of the most stressful experiences I have ever gone through. My mistake? I did it solo. If I had to do it all over again, I would have gathered the necessary paperwork, made the necessary payment, and handed it over to a professional. Because the few euros that I saved DIYing it were so not worth the hair pulling and sleepless nights, I'll tell you that. Even things related to school can be so slow and complicated. I have school-age children, and the endless stream of notes and emails, and generally just the way processes are handled, can be somewhat slow, complicated, and sometimes inefficient, which in turn becomes very time-consuming. To top it all off, the Portuguese language is very formal. So even if you're bilingual like me, when it comes to bureaucratic matters, you can find yourself feeling kind of stumped. At first, I questioned my language abilities, but I've been told that even Portuguese people with Portuguese as their native language find themselves having to read things over 2 or 3 times before it all makes sense. Navigating all of this paperwork and language hurdles can really test your patience. What's the bureaucratic system like in your country of residence? Let me know in the comments section down below. I'd love to know more. So let's get right into the second reason people might end up not making the Algarve their permanent home. It is due to challenges with the healthcare system. Navigating healthcare in any new country can be daunting, and the Algarve is no exception. Many people are surprised by the wait times for non-emergency medical procedures. According to the Expat Insider Survey, a significant number of expats find adapting to the local health care system challenging. Now, this might explain some of the frustrations that newcomers face due to differences in efficiency and accessibility compared to what they're used to back home. And once again, that language barrier comes in as it can make it tough when dealing with local doctors. Making medical appointments can become an anxious affair, and expressing yourself clearly during a consultation can be a sweat inducing ordeal. English is widely spoken here in the Algarve, but Portuguese is the official language, so you can't always be guaranteed an English speaking doctor or receptionist. And then there are some people who have to travel back to their home country for certain treatments that may not be available locally. This, of course, might result in unexpected trips and expenses. So the learning curve for the local healthcare system can definitely take some getting used to. And engaging the help of a local friend who knows how to navigate the ins and the outs of the healthcare system is probably a good idea until you become proficient at it. And then you can help someone else. Having said all that, Portugal is practically an all-star in the healthcare league, with the World Health Organization placing it in a solid 12th place, while the 2023 Healthcare Index by Numbeo gives it a respectable 25th place, and Portugal clinched the 17th spot in the 2021 World Index of Healthcare Innovation. Not too shabby, right? I would say that this country is rocking the healthcare game, especially in quality. Now, the third reason not everyone stays put in the Algarve is choosing the wrong location to start off with. Data shows that expats often reconsider their initial choice of location once they're more familiar with a region. So while specific stats for the Algarve aren't available in the data that I accessed, this trend is commonly reported among expats in the Algarve. And this reflects the importance of location in the quality of expat life, because picking where to plant your sun umbrella isn't always straightforward. It's really important to remember that where you spend your holiday isn't necessarily where you want to live permanently, and a lot of people make this mistake. They choose to settle in a tranquil little village because they had this dream of escaping city life and are seeking peace. Then they find themselves a bit too isolated from things like healthcare and shopping. Then there are people who choose a popular tourist spot because they had such a great time when they stayed there on holiday, only to find the noise and crowds really overwhelming once the summer hits, and they start to dread the busy season every single year. I actually personally know quite a few people in this category, and what they've done is they've opted to spend summers away. Family and friends, they return to their country of origin for a couple of months, or they rent in the eastern or western Algarve during July and August, as those areas tend to be less congested and they feel more at ease during the crazy busy season. Then there are also people who have these visions of living an idyllic existence in a little hilltop town where everybody knows your name, without realizing how much they'll miss being close to the sea and how often they'll need to drive to get anywhere and to get anything. Basically, what I'm saying is location is key, and sometimes it takes a few tries to find the perfect spot. And you know what? That's okay. It's really no different than anything we do in our home countries. We move around there too, right? But I want to just take a second and send a great big shout out to everyone who is supporting this channel, whether through liking, commenting, or subscribing. If you're getting value from this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and smash that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future episodes of Living in the Algarve and are the first to access insider tips and updates. Moving right along. The fourth challenge that may result in expats leaving the Algarve are cultural misunderstandings and local etiquette. So, every culture has its quirks and misunderstandings, and surveys indicate that adapting to local customs and etiquette can lead to humorous or awkward situations. For example, the Expat Insider Survey notes that a high percentage of expats in the Algarve appreciate friendliness and the welcoming nature of the Portuguese locals, but can sometimes be a little overwhelmed by this compared to what they're used to in their own cultures. For example, kissing, one on each cheek, is a common greeting here, and you can tell when it's not for some people. Their body language just screams, no, 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 when someone's getting all up in their personal space like that. Another example is that the Portuguese can be quite boisterous and expressive. Well, I'll just say it loud. This might be interpreted as aggression instead of the enthusiasm that it truly is by those of us with more sensitive ears. Even some people have commented that they find it quite rude. For example, if you're at a cafe or somewhere else and you're trying to socialize with your friends, the Portuguese are a passionate bunch, especially when it comes to football and politics, and they're not afraid to yell about it, even if it's in the public square. Now, one of the most common complaints that I hear all the time is the barking dogs. The Portuguese don't seem to be as bothered by constant barking as many other cultures. Personally, I really struggled with this when I moved here, to the point that I seriously considered selling the house and finding somewhere else to live. However, installing double glazed windows and taking some time to get to know my furry new next door neighbors seems to have solved the problem. That, or maybe I just got used to it, I don't know. All I know is that it doesn't bother me so much, and for them. Learning the ins and outs of local customs is a journey filled with its own set of trials and triumphs. My advice is just embrace it all. After all, we don't move to a brand new country because we want things to be exactly the same as they are in our home countries, right? The next reason that I've seen people leave the Algarve for are failed investments. The investment game, it's not always sunshine and rainbows, even here in the Algarve. Economic reports suggest that the Algarve experiences significant seasonal fluctuations in tourism, which can severely impact businesses that don't have a plan for this variation. While I couldn't find any specific percentages for the drop in tourist activity, it's a well-known fact that the off-season can be challenging for businesses reliant on summer crowds. For example, there are people who open very high season specific businesses, let's say like a beach bar or something along those lines, and they're expecting endless summers only to then struggle through their first winter with scarce customers. The question then becomes, how many scarce winters can someone survive before having to close up shop? There are also people who have invested and bought property to renovate and flip, and then they find themselves facing endless red tape and rising costs that eat into their profits. This, combined with the fact that the Algarve is currently facing a labor shortage, like many places around the world I've heard, can make turning a profit into a challenge. Unfortunately, I've also seen people who start up really niche businesses, and there simply aren't enough clients to keep them going in the long run. The Algarve population is like just shy of about 500,000 residents, so creating a business that only caters to a small percentage of that population is going to require some creativity and some complementary income producing ventures in order to generate and maintain a long-term, sustainable, successful business. On a global scale, according to the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index, Portugal ranks 39th out of 190 countries, which highlights some of the challenges and complexities in dealing with administrative tasks compared to other countries. However, that still puts Portugal in the top 20%. So keeping that in mind, it is a lot more challenging to do business in other countries. In a nutshell, investing abroad is definitely not for the faint of heart or lighter wallet. Lastly, life's unpredictable waves can sometimes sweep you back to where you started or onto entirely new shores. Things like career, education, or personal reasons. Statistics on the specific reasons expats leave are varied, but common themes include better career opportunities back home or changes in personal circumstances. The Expat Insider Survey frequently highlights these trends, noting that personal happiness and career satisfaction play significant roles in such decisions. For example, there are people who moved here in the past few years when opportunities to work remotely increased tremendously. And now, despite their love for the Algarve, they've been given opportunities that are too good to pass up in their original country of residence. In terms of education, specifically post-secondary education, the Algarve does have a university, and it does have 3 campuses. The Gambelish campus, which is located about 6 kilometers from the city of Faro, and it houses several faculties, such as the Faculty of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, the Faculty of Human and Social Sciences, the Faculty of Science and Technology, the Faculty of Economics, and the School of Health Sciences. The Peña campus, which is situated right in the center of Faro, it includes the Higher School of Education and Communication, the Higher School of Management, Hospitality and Tourism, the Higher Institute of Engineering. And finally, there's the Portimão campus, which is located in the square at the railway station in Portimão. And this campus operates as an extension of the School of Management, Hospitality and Tourism, where courses in management and tourism are taught. So if you're a student looking to study something outside the scope of what the University of the Algarve offers, naturally, you'll have to look outside the region in order to do so. Or maybe you're like my son and you just want to get far enough away where you know your mother won't be visiting you weekly or daily. Aside from this, I also know of some people whose family needed them back home in their country, making their sunny days in the Algarve preferred. And these are people who have to return to take care of an elderly parent, for example, or who are missing their grandbabies so much, and they want to have more than once or twice yearly visits with their little humans. These types of exoduses tend to be temporary, but they are among the reasons why some people leave the Algarve. Now, finally, although only a small fraction, some folks move here envisioning their golden years in laid-back Algarve sun, but sometimes the shift from the constant buzz of a bustling city to the tranquil rhythms of coastal life can start to feel a bit too slow. After years of living at a faster pace, the quiet might start to feel more sleepy than soothing. And let's talk about the summers. While many dream of sunny days, the Algarve can really turn up the heat, like literally. You might be thinking, wait, Raquel, haven't you been telling us about how great the Algarve weather is in all of your other videos? Well, yeah, that's true, I have. But the intense summer temperatures aren't for everyone. And I actually know quite a few people who packed up purely because they found the scorching heat a bit too sizzling for their liking. Some people go in search of a climate that's a tad more temperate and perhaps a lifestyle that keeps the adrenaline pumping just a bit more. They choose to trade in the relaxed pace of the Algarve for something with a bit more action and maybe a few more degrees cooler. So there you have it. Straight up talk about the roller coaster ride that is expat life. That is expat life in the Algarve. Sure, there are bumps along the road, the occasional curveball that might have you second guessing your GPS or your life choices for that matter. But for every little hiccup, there's a glorious sunset painting the sky, a new friend with stories to share, or an unforgettable adventure waiting just around the corner. These moments aren't just nice, they're soul enriching. They turn just living into truly living. And here's the thing, despite the challenges, the beauty of the Algarve, both in its landscapes and in its people, has a way of tipping the scales. In the end, the positives don't just outweigh the negatives, they pile on top of them and jump up and down. That's why most of us who come here plant roots deeper than the ancient olive trees, myself included. I'm not just sticking around, I'm thriving. From spontaneous beach trips and local festivals to those quiet cafe mornings watching the village wake up, life here is rich in ways that go beyond the ordinary. So, if you're considering a leap to expat life or just curious about the view from this side of the fence, remember, it's about more than enduring the challenges, it's about engaging. Engage with the culture, engage with the community, and above all, engage with every single moment. Because here in the Algarve, the best is always yet to come. Thanks so much for joining me on this eye-opening adventure. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell icon for more insights into expat life. If you want to hop on a call with me to dive deeper into anything that we've discussed today, you can call me on WhatsApp at this number, or call directly by clicking on this link. You can also find all of my contact information in the video and channel descriptions. Until next time, keep exploring and embracing the unexpected. And as we say here in the Algarve, beijinhos.